let's talk a little bit about thallium. All right.
That's a word that gets popped up around the house a lot.
I got a word you probably thought you would never have to think about.
Yeah, correct.
I see more and more patients with thallium exposure, and I'm seeing thallium particularly in urine tests, heavy metal urine tests. And thallium is a byproduct of factories, primarily coal burning power plants. It's a naturally occurring element in the Earth's crust. So mining operations that are kind of bringing things to the surface can do it. But I ask patients and they're saying, well, I don't live anywhere near a coal burning power plant, or I don't have factories near me. And so the more I've looked into this, the more I'm convinced that our food supply and our
Mm,
water is being contaminated. So I think you may not live near a coal burning power plant or a factory, but if the farm that raises your beef is, you're probably getting dosed through livestock and through crops. I had one patient who was eating 2 or 3 cups of spinach and kale, organic spinach and kale, a day in a smoothie, trying to get healthy, and thallium levels went up. It turns out thallium can bioaccumulate in some of those green vegetables.
yeah.
And we had to stop the healthy organic green smoothie for her, and her hair grew back, which was wonderful. But I'm seeing
That's
more and more people
yeah.
who are having problems with thallium, and I think it's a direct result of our polluted environment. And so I wanted to throw that out there for people to just be
Mm,
aware of that this is a problem. Um,
yeah. 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 And I'll say no one tested for that. Like, right, that was something that was, I mean, how many blood tests I had, no one tested for that. And so it was really just kind of the same blood test over and over again, not really looking at the heavy metals and things like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was another extension of, all right, let's really figure out what the source of the problem is.
yeah,
And
and I think that's important. So when I take a case on, one of the first things I want to do is not just reflexively order labs. So people call me and they say, "Hey, well, are you going to order labs before seeing me?" And no, because I need to hear what's been done. Why am I going to do it again?
right.
You know, people have this idea that if you do a blood count and a metabolic panel and a lipid profile, you're going to figure out why someone's sick, and it's silly. But I didn't need to repeat the things that had already been done for you, but it was very obvious to see, oh, well, CIU is often caused by toxins. What toxins have we not looked for? We haven't looked for heavy metals. There's an $89 urine test from Doctor's Data. Go pee in a
It's,
cup, Joe. It's not a hard thing to do, right?
and for someone who was going through what I'm going through, anyone would do that. I just don't think there's enough education awareness for people to even think that way, right? So it's mind-boggling to think that you keep going in, you keep spending money, you keep trying to get results, and you're only getting the same thing over and over again and not really understanding what the source of the problem is. It's almost just a band-aid or trying to provide a band-aid for you when we really need to figure out the problem, especially with something like this. So we've figured it out pretty quickly. I don't think it was only a couple months in before we figured out we had the thallium issue. So it wasn't 18 months of just 25 doctors and I don't know how many tests, but 3 months of kind of what we decided to do here, and we figured out kind of I think what the source of the issue was.
Yeah, I mean, we had your results back within a month. I mean, you went off the races, did that, and then it was just a matter of getting your body ready to take the treatment. So
Yeah.
even if you have the thallium level there, it's not the case that we necessarily want to just aggressively throw everything at thallium or mold toxins, right? Because your body, it's kind of a mess, right? You hadn't been sleeping, like your gut was not good. You were depressed, like eating and stress and meals and movement and family and all that stuff I think needed some time and attention before we could get you on the binders. And so you now are on about one capsule of a variety of binders to bring toxins slowly out. This is what I do for a lot of different toxic treatments. And even the binders, I think initially, I think you did poorly with the clay, right? The
Yeah.
clay
Yeah.
was
Initially,
too
yeah.
high of a dose in the one capsule, and we had to kind of go slow. And then, are you back on it now? I can't remember.
Yeah. No, I've been on that without
Yeah.
issue. So I think
Yeah.
initially when I
So,
first took it, maybe my body reacted poorly, but after just a couple of weeks, I've been on it
yeah.
every.
And remember, like if your body's immune system is inappropriately reacting to stimuli, that's kind of the hallmark of CIU. Some
Mm,
mold toxins, some pollen, maybe there's some radon or bacterial growth, but your immune system is characterizing these things as deadly threats and just exploding mast cells into histamine all over, right? And so new things sometimes upsets the immune system when the immune system has been geared to chronically overact for years and years and years. So we had to go low and slow, but then the lower we've gotten the toxic elements, I think the better you felt. And then once the thallium cleared, and so I can figure out when that was. See, so we got it back October 31st, and your thallium had cleared, I think, early part of January or February of this year. So 3 to 4 months, we got it out, and that was roughly the time period where you were able to get off the prednisone. And so I think your case was as simple as getting the fundamentals right, supporting the gut, detoxifying, and not being afraid of the prescription medicine. And I think it was as simple as that.